You know, it cannot be overemphasized that the primary purpose of government is the security and welfare of its citizens. It's a constitutional requirement. And any constitution that does not provide for such a thing loses the essence of the social contract. In a democracy, the people go into contract with the government to surrender their sovereignty, individual sovereignty, to the collective will, so that the government will now be the entrusted trustee to hold their commonwealth in trust for their benefit. Unfortunately, the governments of Africa, particularly Nigeria, is holding government for the selfish purposes of the leaders, not for the benefit of the people, which is unconstitutional. How can you be in government and you are providing 90 billion naira for people to go to Hajj, which is seasonal, and you've not asked whether those people and their family that are going to Hajj, whether you are feeding them at home? There is no reception to theology when a man is hungry. You're willing to give them millions for political reasons, billions, and you're saying you want to help them to go and pray, and you're not willing to give them more than 30,000 naira to feed themselves and their families, and they are working for you. When this government came to power, they were earning 30,000 naira per month, which was highest 500. It's supposed to be 450, 461, but let's even say it's 500 naira. That's about $60. Now that the dollar has gone to almost 2,000 naira to a dollar, at least he reached to that level. Since minimum wage is not something you go every day to negotiate, you will take the worst case scenario. So if it is 2,000 naira to a dollar, how much does it come to? About $15. Now, if you times $60, which was what they were earning when you came in, with 2,000 naira, that should be 120,000 naira. So even if you're paying them what they were earning, the value of their 30,000 when you came in, you should be talking about 120,000 naira. On the list, you have not increased their salary. And then you're saying you're going to pay them about 50%. They started with even 40,000. Is that not a bit unconscionable? Do you meet people and leave them worse than you met them? You judge a government by saying, 4 years ago when they came in, 1 year ago, are you better off than you are today? So when it comes to the issue of national wage, it's really very shameful. When Labour say 400 and 600, some people want to say it's unreasonable. I say, it's unrealistic. I say, I don't like those words. There's nothing unrealistic about it. When you came out and say fuel subsidy is gone in a sentence, is there anything realistic about it? Did you consult them? Because you are in government for their welfare. That is what the Constitution says. How can you take such decision that is going to affect their welfare without even consulting them? Is it realistic? Now, the fuel, they are buying it 700 naira, 800 naira, and they are public servants. They are bound to go to work. More than 300% increase. What is realistic? That when you came in, they were buying a bag of rice for 19,000. Now they are buying it for 80,000 naira. No, what is realistic that you, knowing what they are going through, you depreciated Naira from 500 Naira to 2,000 Naira to $1. No, what is realistic that your vice president that is already living in a very secure, powerful house, that you're bringing 21 billion Naira within 9 months to build a new house for him? What is realistic that your chief of staff, a place that you want him to live, they say electronic this and another, and they are going to spend 20 billion Naira within a year? What is realistic that where the National Assembly people want to park their car, you're spending 6 billion Naira to build car park? And the budget of the National Assembly that was about 100 and something billion Naira, they jacked it up to 360 something billion Naira. What is realistic about it? What is realistic about giving billions to your unelected first lady, who has confessed that they don't need the money of Nigeria, that God has blessed them with their own money, that they have come for the welfare of the people? She said it openly. And yet you're giving her billions to eat. But you're saying that labor is not realistic when they say, give us 400, because one bag of rice is 80,000. But a family of 6, when you check education, healthcare, this, there is nothing unrealistic about it. But you can bring the argument that it's unaffordable. Not that you wouldn't have afforded it if you had done the right thing. But since you have confessed that you're a government of profligacy, you can say, please, you people know that I am extravagant. I don't know how to manage funds. Please, I'm sorry. What you're saying is realistic, but I can't afford it. Because I would have to maintain the private jets that I allow my sons to go and, attend party with. I would have to, at least confess to your profligacy. That I take 1,000 persons to go to Dubai or United Nations, so the money remaining is less. At least confess that you are an incompetent government, that you cannot afford it. And then, because of the consequential adjustment, because when you give minimum wage, you will now have to adjust for other people who are earning high. Here is the catch. When this government removes subsidy, they say they are going to give 35,000 Naira wage award to the workers. If you add the 35,000 Naira to the 30,000 Naira, how much does it come? 65,000 Naira. What conscience do they have to come to the table and negotiate or start the negotiation with an amount less than that? Now they are coming under the pretense that the organized private sector is there, the state government is a tripartite arrangement. Let me ask this government, when you removed subsidy, depreciated the Naira, and you're making this budget for this 15.6 trillion Naira for one project, did you consult the state government? Did you consult the organized sector? It is only in the welfare of workers that decision lasts for 1 year. If you want to change the national anthem, 1 day, 2 days. You want to remove subsidy, 1 sentence. But when it comes to the welfare of the workers, which is your primary duty as a government, is lasting for 1 year without a decision. It took the national grid to be shut down, Nigeria to be paralyzed, before you can give them audience and say you would reach up to 60,000. This government is an apology. So, what I am saying is that it will be unfair to talk about labor, and you're talking about anything less than 120,000 Naira, anything less than. For the federal government too, that is the source of all this headache. I agree, the private sector may not be able to pay up to 100,000. your security man. I doubt whether the private sector, who is also a victim, because the private sectors are victims of this government in their policies. I doubt whether they will be able to pay more than 65 as minimum wage. If you ask me, I would say the private sector should be allowed to pay 65. They are going to struggle to do it, but just for the sake of humanity. The local government should be allowed to pay at least up to 70,000. My reason is that most people working in their locality are living around their locality. It's not like federal government where you will leave your locality, your state, and come to Abuja, where you buy everything that you will eat, including vegetable. Then I will say, you see, when I say up to, they can still come and beg and negotiate. There is a difference between above. For me, federal government should be not less than 120,000. State government should be able to pay up to 100,000. They can still come and say, I beg, depending on their state. Then the general minimum wage should be 65. So that when somebody is working, the person should be able to transport himself to the place that he's working. Eat. And I'm talking about basic eating, not, orishi. If you want to go and eat and you're being paid 5,000, if you choose the towel today, you won't combine it with the intestine. If you have been a Lagos boy like me, you eat amala. Those well garnished amala women is it the Demeter? I can't remember where we go to eat that time. All of us we eat. Madam, bitch. Orishi is no longer affordable. You come, you take towel today, or you take intestine, the other one you take kidney. See, this government has just finished the welfare of the people. They should negotiate for all these minimums at the same time. Because what this government is doing is hiding under the private sector, telling you, no, minimum wage is for everyone. It's a tripartite arrangement. No. There's no law that says you can't pay more than the minimum wage. The law is that you can't pay less. Edo State started paying 70,000, and the federal government is trying to tell me they will hide under the organized right to say 62,000. No. You can pay more. So what the labor should do is they should recognize that the capacity of these people that are involved in the collective bargaining, is different. And the people that are causing this problem is the federal government. And they are just extorting the money to feed their profligacy. Not that they are doing anything reasonable. That is the truth. It is very painful. If you have been an activist, as I have been, it's always very painful when you take actions that you don't want to take, but you're compelled to take. You don't know the personal torture that these labor people go through, that they are taking certain action. When you want to shut down the national grid, it may be your own brother that's in a hospital that may die. So don't even think that anybody has any joy in doing that. Don't even think that there is any opposition that is praying for us to come to that level. But when you have a government that it is only when you do such a thing that they listen to you, you see that your hands are tied. I will give you a scenario. A government is telling you by shutting down national grid is treasonable felony. They are saying it shamelessly. You know why I'm saying this? In their government within 1 year, 22 times, about 22 times, national grid has collapsed. By their own incompetence. So they ought to be held responsible for treasonable felony 22 times before you talk about labor. Because in law, we don't just talk about the actus reus in the form of action. It can be an omission. You can be charged with murder, not because you killed, but because of negligence, because of recklessness. If you are a driver and you're driving your car, and you ought to have serviced your brake and you did not, and you're driving and your brake fell, and you kill somebody, you know you did not have any intention to kill the person, but you can be charged with murder because of your carelessness, negligence to do what you're supposed to do. It's a government that has, by its own incompetence, inflicted on the people national grid collapse by almost 22 times within 1 year. He's talking about national grid being shut down and it's treasonable felony. Somebody should help me and try this government for treasonable felony for 22 times, please. Because the national grid collapsed achieved the same effect than whatever the labor will achieve. The only difference is that there is no welfare of the people that are being fought for when their own 22 times collapsed. So we gain nothing apart from punishment. So a government that has shame, would they be talking that labor switched off national grid, which would have switched off on its own without labor doing anything? It has switched off on its own for 22 times. About that. So is it not funny? People should have sense of shame. You want to hold labor. And you're saying, this is treasonable felony. Assuming without considering, I'm not trying to say I support what Labour said, but I'm trying to tell you that even themselves, why do you think that within 2 days they called off the strike? It's because of human conscience. It's because they themselves are not enjoying what was happening. But that was the only way. A government that waits until something gets to that level before it can do something, who is more murderous. Because those people that are saying minimum wage, they are dying of hunger. They are dying of lack of health care. They are dying of poverty. Poverty is the greatest killer on earth. I've seen people die at the foot of hospital because they could not even purchase the card to go into the hospital. That's poverty. So please, we are trying the level for one time for switching off national grid. Let's try this government to about that for the national grid command. It's the same thing. I stand, somebody can contradict me, honestly. That's why I'm saying that this government should have a sense of shame when they say certain things. You know, democracy is the rule of the people. Do you think that if we are in a democracy, what is happening now will be happening? In a genuine democracy, the government is afraid of the people. In a dictatorship, which is what we are in, the people are afraid of the government. So we don't have democracy. Sorry. Democracy is a system of government that operates on separation of power, checks and balances. The pillars of democracy is free, fair, credible, verifiable, periodic election. 1. Rule of law. 2. Impartial and independent judiciary. 3. Free and independent media. 4. Human rights, respect for fundamental human rights of citizens. 5, etc. These are the major. Which one have we excelled since we came back to democracy? Our elections have become a mockery to the whole world. That people now sit down and INEC will give original result sheets to politicians and they will refill it and give to INEC. And on the election day, the INEC officials will transmit that to the IRF portal as election. Pre-filled results. They happen in Kogi. They happen in Imo State. Where they are telling you that in one local government, two local government, you got all the results you need to win in the whole state. It happened in Kogi. Pre-filled result. Don't take my words for it. Take the word of Yaga Africa. Take the words of the observers who observed the election. It was from the amount that I had pre-filled results. It's not my own word. So it's common knowledge. You're getting 500 and something thousand persons voting in Imo State. In a time that they said the turnout was low. And during the main general election, everybody went in to vote. They couldn't get up to 300,000 as everybody voted. Magic. So our election has become a caricature of election. I was part of the campaign, and INEC told you technical glitch, their own word. Not when it happened though, when they had finished announcing the result. And they're trying to justify the bogus result they announced because they didn't have any other reason. And they spoke English that confused people more than convincing people. Technical glitch. Today, I don't know what it means. The former commissioner of voter and civic education, he came out 6 months after election and told people that he's not in the technical department, that he doesn't know what it means. First Zokoi. He came out 6 months after. A learned man that defends people in court, whether it's engineering or something. When he goes to court, he wouldn't tell them he doesn't know anything about engineering. He will say, no, I'm learned. Whether in medicine. He's the one who educates voters. More than 6 months. Came to television in channel and they asked him what is technically. He said, I am not good in computer. I don't know, what is it? Can you imagine? So, if you that is supposed to teach the voters education about the democratic voting process, you don't know, then is it me that's ordinary voter that knows? It's a shame.
How do we redefine this democracy we're talking about?
Now, we just talked about election. We've not talked about rule of law. Where a man will come after inauguration and say fuel subsidies come, when there is already a law that says it cannot go till the 30th of June. When you talk about rule of law, you talk about everything should be done in accordance with the law. Government actions should be done in accordance with the law. And that the independence and impartiality of the court should. Let us look at what is going on in our courts. I heard that a court in Port Harcourt said that the 25 members are still members of PDP. So the court now is the one who chooses for Nigerians the party they want to be. And the court is saying, no, you need to bring evidence to come to court to show. When I look at these things, I feel revulsion within me. You know why? By the Evidence Act, the court and the judge does not even need anybody to come in to give evidence. At all. Why? By the Evidence Act. I'm talking about Section 122, Section 123, Section 124, Evidence Act. A fact that is notorious need not be proved. A fact that is common knowledge need not to be proved. So you're telling me that a child in primary school is now more knowledgeable than the judge in court, that the 25 members did not defect, and they came on air during the House of Assembly and read it as the proceeding in front of the whole world. The law is that the court should take judicial notice of that, even if nobody brings it to the court's notice. The law is that the judge will say, no, you can't come to this court to advertise that. It is common knowledge. That's all. So the issue ought not to be whether they're a member of this party or not. That should not be the issue. The issue is you defected to another party. Do you have the right to retain your seat? Because the fact about their defection is not in doubt. And the law is that the court should take judicial notice of it. The minutes of the State House of Assembly, by law, is an evidence as an official act of a public officer. By law. So the court doesn't even need any evidence. And now we're talking about electronic evidence. If you go to the National Library and bring out a newspaper there and they certify it, that's evidence. And you're saying, no, you can't go to TV to get evidence. Where? Why then did we say electronic evidence? Meanwhile, like I said, the court does not even need any lawyer to come to that court to say, my lord, I want to prove that these people have defected. Because it is common knowledge. It's a notorious fact. And the law says it does not need to be proved. That the court should take judicial notice of it. Are we not making a mockery of ourselves? When you go abroad and see the way they try their cases, they bring text message. It's admissible. They bring issues of common knowledge. They bring what you have said yourself. Maybe you wrote a book. It's admissible. And then these people said something, carried it out, went to Abuja, went to Port Harcourt, went to in public glare. And the court is saying, you need to prove. Prove what? Notorious fact? Issue of common knowledge? No. We've gone to a level that is ridiculous. Meanwhile, 2 courts of coordinate jurisdiction in that river state, they are giving contradictory orders on the same fact. So even the judiciary is embarrassing itself. So you don't even need external evidence to talk about the fact that we don't have fair, we don't have independent, we don't have impartial judiciary. You don't even need, the Chief Justice himself has screamed. When 2 courts in Kano State, they were giving contradictory orders, coordinate jurisdiction. Contradictory on the issue of the emirate. Today we have 2 emirs. If you ask me who is the emir of Kano State, if he comes out in exam, I would lecturer. Sorry, I don't know. There are 2 emirs now, and the courts say 2 of them are legitimate, and the courts say 2 of them are illegitimate. That's the answer. Because if you answer this person and the lecturer belongs to the other person, you will fail. If you answer this person and the lecturer belongs to the other, you will fail you. Look at the confusion, the level of confusion. Desecrating a traditional tool. Desecrating the political tool. Desecrating, look at in the criminal proceeding. They say the courts ought to be sitting every day till they reach judgment. That's what they do abroad. Trump case started. Within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's done. Hunter Biden, by today or tomorrow, the jury will give judgment. 1 week, 2 weeks. Sitting every day. That is the law. That is what we have adopted in our admission of criminal justice. Is it happening? Why is it not happening? Incompetence and corruption. Look at in the issue of the political leaders. In Kanduje's case, courts of coordinate jurisdiction giving contradictory orders. In the Abure's case, courts of coordinate jurisdiction giving contradictory orders. Ex parte order that has no meaning in law except to protect somebody whose own interests will be irreparably damaged before you hear the other party. That is what they are using now to destroy the human rights of Nigerians, destroy thrones, destroy political offices. And a judge is coming to say, the court is not aware these people defected. You have to prove membership. So if I say I don't want to be a member of the Labour Party again, I'm now an APC member. I don't even need to write it. Once I have said it, I have the fundamental human right to join any association. So the court is now even being used to destroy the fundamental human right of Nigeria. A man say, I don't belong to PDP, I belong to APC. And the court say, no, it's a lie. You belong to PDP. This year, you have lied. Courts. I don't know how to describe it. Is that democracy we wished for? No. So the issue of election, the independence and impartiality of the judiciary, rule of law, then free and independent media. Within the last 3 months or so, the government have arrested 3 journalists, one Mike, one Ojukwu, and one other person. After detaining them for many days and all this, they've not been charged to court. I don't even think whether they have been told what they did. So even the journalists are intimidated. I remember one NBC man that was giving media houses bill every time, punishing them. Even when the court has said, no more, you don't have that power. Sit down in his house and be writing anything he likes. His attitude now, in a day, I've seen thieves repent by divine intervention. And in a day, they changed and became a new person. I've seen prostitutes repent from having too many men in a day. They say they won't have any at all. If their teen is scratching them, they will pray to God to help them, and it will help them, and God will help them. It can be changed overnight. Miracles happen in a twinkle of an eye. If this present government now say, I won't travel again for 2 years, let me concentrate and find the problem of Nigeria, is it not possible? If this government say, no, from today, anybody that wants to buy any official car, you must buy made in Nigeria goods, is it not possible? If he can do the bad thing by fiat, first subsidy is gone. He can do the good thing by fiat. Let him use that same spirit that he is using to conjure demons. Let him use it to invite the angels and the Holy Spirit to help us. Because these people, I don't know the kind of that they have. It's very possible. I gave my life to Christ. It was a decision. I made it one day. And a bad boy, that his eye will be wakaring, waka. When my eye want to waka, I say, get behind me. Get behind me. As I'm talking to you even today, I'm not still perfect. But because of determination, it's a work in progress. If I fall, I'll stand up and clean my black ass and move on. But it's no longer a way of life for me. It is a way of life for them to subordinate and destroy the welfare of the people for their own selfish ends. I've told you, you're debating 60,000 and you're sitting down there using billions to say you're eating billions. Where's the conscience? It is easy. You know why it is easy? We have the men, we have the materials, we have the money. These billions you're talking about is money. You will leave your own money. Look at the resources. Gold, you gather it like, look at bitumen, these are resources, these are money. You will leave it. Or allow foreign powers to come and be mining it and stealing it. And you're going to borrow. The government has borrowed up to $17 billion in a year. This government is good in making records. You know, the leader has even said the Guinness Book of Records, what are you still waiting for to give me an award? he deserves an award for bad governance. He deserves Guinness Book of Records for incompetence. And everybody should pray for the best, even as we are preparing for the worst. So there is hope. My hope is not in Labour Party. Was I in Labour Party for 2023? My hope is not in any politician. My hope is in God Almighty. Who is the politician that is sure he will live till 2027? You don't have control over your own life. And so I have never put my trust in a human being. I've always believed that Nigerians deserve divine intervention. And that divine intervention will come. The God I worship, you are not failures. That I pray for this country every day. And God said, not labor there is profit. I've made up my mind about a new Nigeria. I've made sacrifices. I research about it. I pray about it. I fight for it. And I believe in my generation, I will get it. And nothing will happen that will make me to lose hope. In this journey to a new Nigeria, there will be no balking. There will be no reneging. There will be no retreat. There will be no surrender. We will win. Because the victory of good over evil is certain. If Americans won, if the French won, if the English won, Nigerians will win. You know, I've always said that never belongs to God. Is it true that I can be making any move and it will be nocturnal? I'm not a nocturnal human being, not a pussycat that sees in the night. So I don't normally make nocturnal moves. Nothing is shrouded in secrecy. The things that made me to leave APC, have they disappeared? A party that is insensitive to our diversity, a party that is murderous to the welfare of the people, a party that will collapse the national grid about 100 times from the time they came into 2015. Go and check it. And then they say it is treasonable felony for national grid to collapse. A party that is insensitive, a party that has degraded and deprived Nigerians of basic necessities. When I entered that party in 2016, that was not what was happening in Nigeria in 2016. Any party that is not visibly committed to the welfare of Nigerians will most likely not see me there. I don't rule out going back to anything because change is constant. My own Labour Party is not impressing me. So what are you talking? Assuming they continue in this trajectory where they cannot even hold acceptable national convention, then you tell me I'll be there. I don't blame them, because even the courts now will tell you are still a member of a political party when you say you're no longer a member of a political party. Maybe that's what they are all seeing. So if Kenneth Okonkwo say I'm not a member of the Labour Party, they will go to court and say, no, your name is still in our register. Is it not ridiculous? Your name is still in our register, so you are still a member, assuming. Absurdities that are happening. My dear, the only thing I look and fight for and seek is the new Nigeria that I'm praying for living in. Not party, not any politician, not any individual. I did not leave my comfort zone as the first actor that acted the first movie that started Nollywood to come into the murky waters of politics that is bedeviled with the landmines of betrayal, landmines of blood-sucking demons that manifest as politicians, landmines of blackmail, landmines of corruption, incompetence, trying to say you will fight all those things. And then for me now to come in and say, I want to be part of the system. No. I have better things to fall back to. If I say I can no longer move it down to betray the principle of a new Nigeria. I started fighting for a new Nigeria before this 2023. Each time I wanted to contest, and it is not what I can bear within my own conscience, I'll withdraw. I've not contested for any election, but I've aspired. I don't believe in that issue. If you want to change them, first of all, join them and this. So after joining them to steal, then you want to come out. Why do you think we don't have good opposition in this country? Because once they open their mouth, they will bring their record and take them to EFCC. And the government has the right to take you to EFCC once you commit crime. So most of the people that want to fight, they may be the people that innocently that said, in order to climb to this place, let me join them here. In order to say, I have something to fight. When I now come to this level, I will now fight. You cannot outsmart the devil. The devil is smarter than you. If you're here, be here. If you're here, be here. Don't be lukewarm. Because one day the book will be brought out and be opened. Those not found in the book of life, their names will be struck out. You know the consequences.
The tenure of Julius Aboro expired this month.
It has expired long time ago. What is this month? If it is this month, why did he go and... so he himself does not even know when his own tenure expired. If it is this month, where did he get that from? If it's this month, why did he go to organize fake national convention and swear himself in? So which month again? That means he himself terminated his own tenure before expiration. Where did you get that from? Did Labour Party advertise in your media house that they are doing convention? Did you see it? Good. I was a spokesperson at the presidential level, and I did not know my party was having convention. That must be voodoo convention. I've not seen that kind of voodoo. When I saw it in the social media, by leaked letter, they wrote to INEC. I was the one who called them because I thought it was fake. I said, wait, sir, what is going on? This and that. They will go to Umuahi. It is Umuahi here today. They will reject them in Umuahi. Because it's a leprous convention. It's going to accept leprous convention. They will run to, they will say, it is now going to be in Edo. Edo will reject them, the home of the national church. They will run to Anambra, nails, and find one of them. What is done like that? A national party that's more than 6.something million persons voted for. They went. And the next thing we heard is we saw people, some people giving their hand like this, that they are sworn in. Have you ever seen in any party where the whole NWC people were returned? Nobody contested, even one. These people are a joke. And they are not even, they don't even have shame to come out and say they did convention. You wouldn't see anybody there voting or not voting. Gang of criminals. And you don't have shame to come out and say, you did national convention. You can't, what are you going to tell the 6.something million persons that voted for you? The whole members, people coming, wanting to come in. You want to tell them they won't even have the right to choose who their leaders are. And you want them to join your party? You're a joker. Those people, they are clowns. Greatest joke that I've ever seen in any political party. And then you want to position yourself as a party of integrity. You can't give what you don't have. Abure and his cohorts, their tenure is over. There's nothing like Are you calling me to support what I don't know? Did you call me to even tell me you're going to have national convention? So what will I tell people? Jesus Christ will say on the judgment, I'll say, get behind me. You worker of iniquity, I don't know you. Let Abure and all his cohorts get behind me. They are workers of iniquity. I don't know them. No, you don't know. No, is it not painful to me and the dishonor that somebody like me in your party don't, I'm not aware you're doing any national convention. I have told you, thank God you're a journalist, you're an investigative journalist. They did not even allow journalists to come in when they were doing the convention. Journalists that did sniff to catch them all, they did not even allow them to come in when they are doing election. That's secret society. That executive, they are now in charge of secret society. They should be apprehended so that they will tell the world what they did in that place. Because party politics is supposed to be an open and transparent thing. Everybody is supposed to be there. The world is supposed to be seeing what you're doing. That is what the Constitution says. Internal democracy. That is what INEC would do. If INEC recognizes Abure and all those things, then know that they collected money to do it. Because the notice, they said if you don't give INEC notice, then it is invalid. That's the law. Section 82, subsection 5. What they're about. Section 82, subsection, the whole section 80 is talking about conducting election and the members of the political party voting. Then the Labour Party even talked about the delegates voting, which is what the Constitution said. And then you went in and you called your fellow people. You went in here and did your secret society meeting. And then you came out. If you bring back Abure 10 times, his own people will suspend him 10 times. 10 times. When they suspended him the first time, we fought, reached Court of Appeal. Before we even finishing Court of Appeal to say we want to rest, his own state suspended him. If you bring him back now, local government will suspend. The other time it was what? Because this is a man that does not have integrity. It is a man that does not have the support of his people because of his own actions and inactions. Today, I have not seen him campaign with the gubernatorial candidate of his own state. The last time I saw him in his state, they collected him, put him on the ground, and I was shouting, oh, this is terrible to democracy, terrible. Did I know that maybe that is God trying to humiliate him because he doesn't want to humble himself? As men now, is the one you see when you want to be sincere. It's evidence you see. You fight in sincerity. Dragged him, put him on the floor, took him to the car. Wow, in your own state. And yet, you wouldn't tell yourself that even God himself doesn't want me to continue to organize free and fair election and position Labour Party. Look at the problem in PDP and APC that would have been using to be collecting the seats. Look at in Ondo. I don't even know whether we are existing in Ondo gubernatorial candidates. Because of this, Abure and his cohorts. And you're telling they are a joke. They're operating secret society there. Anybody that is following Abure and his colleagues is a member of secret society. Let the person come and tell me what they did in that convention. If it's not secret society meeting. When a man says something and says this is his intent, it's only God now that you have to ask. Because intention is within him. I'm surprised you're asking me. I did not introduce myself as a prophet. You did not introduce me as a prophet. Then you said peterobi went there, and peterobi said that he did not go there for endorsement. And Abure people did not even allow him to leave that place before they started telling the world that he has come to endorse them. Meaning one person is lying. That's what it means. Two people saying contradictory statements of an issue that happened cannot be right at the same time. So if peterobi said, look, oh, I went there not to endorse them, they'd have not said peterobi lied. Have you heard it? Good. So I should have to believe peterobi, because peterobi, when he was talking, did not use the word, I have come to endorse these people. I did not hear it. That does not mean in any way that I'm supporting that he ever put his leg there, because even the body language of a leader matters. It was not right that he should even step his leg there, because when you get in there, and probably you went there alone, they have the right to come and say anything they want. And because of that evidence that you're there, it will now be you now struggling to explain yourself. So if I were in his position, I wouldn't even ever step in there. Step in there to do what? As a leader, if they tell the world you have come to endorse them, you begin to struggle. No, I did not do that, which is avoidable. So I am not in support that he ever visited there. But that is to tell you that Abure and his colleagues have become pathological liars. Because if they came out to say, he has come to endorse us, when he did not come to endorse you, what else are you waiting to hear that these people have become irreparable liars? There's nothing, all these leaders, what is remaining is divine deliverance on their heads. That's it. It's like they can't change. So it was not right, in my own opinion, for him to have visited Abure in his office. If he wanted them and he was looking for reconciliation, he would have summoned them to come and see him as the leader of the party. So why go there? You have opened the room for them to say anything they say. And you should know by now that they are not honest people. They're not honest people. So they can lie. As in, they can lie in anything. Anything.